Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. Today we're here to talk about my quite lackluster reading month in April. So I have read some genuinely fantastic stuff in April. However, the volume of reading has been extremely low. I've talked about this in a bunch of videos, but essentially I went away on holiday for a large portion of this month. And so that really meant that I struggled to get much reading done at all because I was spending time with family and friends. And I went on 2 bachelor parties, or stag do's as we call them in the UK. It feels wrong to say bachelor party in a British accent. So let's get right into things and talk about what I've read. So the very first thing I did this month was finish Promise of Blood. I gave this 5 stars. I loved this book. I have recommended it to like 6 other people. I'm not giving them my copy though, because this one's mine. And genuinely really loved that reading that book. It is a kind of flintlock fantasy, so it's like fantasy but a little bit more advanced than the kind of normal medieval Europe setting that we're used to. And then we've got a violent revolution that has taken place, like a military coup. But it's a military coup for like the right reasons, because all the people who are working in the government are like super awful, and the military kind of has the best interests of the people at heart. So yeah, really exciting and interesting book. Love the world, love the magic system, where we have like these 3 different competing types of magic. We have the privileged, who are these kind of like arm waving Gandalf style sorcerers. We have the powder mages, the marked, who are able to snort gunpowder like it was cocaine and then have telekinetic control over gunpowder and bullets, which is incredibly exciting and cool. And then we have the knacked, who are like my favorites, who have like 1 special skill. So they're like, oh, I don't need to sleep, or I have a perfect memory. Really interesting. Love the world, love the characters. I will definitely be reading more. I have all 3 in the first trilogy. So I will be reading the Crimson Campaign, which is the 2nd book in the series. I currently have no plans as to when to slot that in. At the moment, my main priority is the Wheel of Time, as you guys know. And then as like a kind of backup, I'm also reading Red Rising and Sun Eater. So I want to make sure that those are being read at a reasonable clip. And I'm going to be adding in 1 or 2 sequel books a month as we go through the year. So hopefully I'll finish the whole trilogy in 2024. But because I want to start a lot of new things, so as you know, for context, I kind of came back to reading by reading all of the Cosmere in one binge, except for Elantris, in like late 2021, early 2022. No, 2022, 2023, actually, mad. So I was reading the Cosmere, and every time I finished a book, I was like, oh, I want to see what other people think of this book. So I would go on YouTube, search for reviews, and eventually I found booktube. And I found booktube kind of as a concept, starting with like Daniel Green and Murphy Napier, but then I found Mike's book reviews. And then I saw that kind of the way that Mike ran his channel, where he would have, the weekly and monthly updates and TBRs and things like that. And I really enjoyed that like structure of a channel. So there's kind of always something new to watch. And that was what really inspired the way that I run my channel. So because I only started reading back then, and what I mostly did when I first started reading was read the Cosmere. And after the Cosmere, my whole thing was I'm just going to read like binge read series. So I binge read all of the Dresden Files. I binge read the Farseer trilogy. I binge read the Greenbone saga. So I've read a lot of books in a very small amount of series. So my goal for this year was I was like, I'm going to read a lot more book 1s so I get more of an idea of my taste. I want to read more new releases, and I know a lot of those are going to be focusing on things that are first books. So that's kind of where I kind of landed in terms of why I'm not going to be just going straight into the sequels for Powder Mage. There are a few books that I am following into the sequels for, which is kind of like basically just Sun Eater. And I put Red Rising on hold for quite a while now because the next book is pretty chunky. But that does not mean that I won't be going back to Red Rising. I'm just not going back probably until the summer. Anyway, Powder Mage, Crimson Campaign, looking forward to it. Promise of Blood was excellent. A huge fan of that one. After reading Promise of Blood, I went straight into a book from my lovely friend JCM Byrne, Partial Function, which is kind of like a sidequel, I think, to the Hybrid Helix. I actually wasn't planning on reading this one until I had gotten up to date on Hybrid Helix, but Joe mentioned that this one technically takes place or has some content that will enrich the reading of the fourth book, Shadow of Hyperion. This one was an interesting one. So I kind of assumed, and this is very dumb of me, I assumed this was a sci-fi book because the other Hybrid Helix books are sci-fi books. The fact that when you look at the Amazon page for Partial Function, it says a wuxia-inspired epic fantasy. I just glossed over that, didn't read it. So this is an epic fantasy. It reminds me a lot of the like Seven Samurai style westerns, like A Magnificent Seven. It has a kind of a westerny vibe with like saloons and deserts and interesting weird characters. So really enjoyed this one. If you like kind of kung fu movies and westerns and kind of wuxia style storytelling, this would be definitely something that I would say check out. It's completely free on Kindle Unlimited as well. I mean, it's not free, you pay the subscription. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and it's real good. You don't have to read any of the Hybrid Helix to enjoy this, but apparently this will inform and help you enjoy the Hybrid Helix. So I see no reason why not to dive into Kindle Unlimited and read this right away. It's a nice, fun, short read. The fact that it took me a little while is honestly because I've been so busy. However, the book that really took me some time this month is this monster. So I haven't finished it yet. I am on chapter 46, Veils. I have 240 pages left to go, which I would imagine is about 4 or 5 hours of reading, which is why I don't think I can finish it today. And I was thinking like, oh, I'll record the monthly update after I've finished the book. But honestly, I kind of don't think that I will get it done in time to record it this week. So I was like, let's just do it now. I'm loving this book so far. This really feels like Perrin's book. I've said to a couple of friends, and Perrin's been having a great time. Well, not a great time in this book, actually. I've been having a great time with Perrin, despite the fact that he's not been having a great time himself. And yeah, so about a couple of 100 pages left to go of this 974 page book. It is the biggest book in the Wheel of Time. So it's all downhill from here. Apparently that's also the same in quality, because a lot of people say this is the best book in the Wheel of Time. So if this is the best, then technically everything is downhill. However, I hear that the real downhill starts in the like 8, 9, 10 sort of range of books. But I'm loving this one so far. I think that it's they're doing something in this book that, again, I don't really see done in fantasy very often. So I won't spoil it, but wait for the review. We will, hopefully I will finish this today or tomorrow, probably not today. Record the review for you guys to go up on Wednesday. I was originally going to do a fantasy bingo card, but I realised that the 2024 one only started in April, so I don't really have much to talk about yet. So maybe we'll do that one the next quarter. We'll do that at the end of July or something. So that is books for this month. We're talking about April. So let's talk a little bit about the channel. So in March, I don't know whether I talked to you guys about this, but we had some real lackluster subscriber growth. I only saw 43 new subscribers in March, which is the lowest figure that I have seen since October last year. And October was when I did that month of Stephen King murder mystery thriller books, where every video did incredibly poorly. So the March was a real bad month. However, we have rebounded with almost double the subs in April. So I'm at 82 now for April. And I'm hoping that this kind of trend continues on and that we see subscriptions to start to grow again. I'm not expecting them to double every month, but it would be really nice to get into the triple figures in, May, June, July. That would be really exciting. I've only had a couple of months in triple figures before. So yeah. So in fact, if I look, December, February and April were all in the early 80s. So if my channel continues to grow that well, that'll be perfect. I would love that. In terms of top content, the most viewed video in the last month is the same most viewed video it's been since I put it up, which is my Kindle Scribe review. My new Kindle 2022 review for the basic Kindle is actually kind of nipping at the heels, and it probably will take over in May because we had 755 views for that Kindle review and it only came out last week. So if you think it's only had a week to get 750, whereas the Kindle Scribe has had multiple months to get the 101.4K, multiple weeks even. In terms of watch hours, we're almost 500 watch hours for the month, which is apparently 200 more than normal, which is pretty cool. We are at almost 6,000 views for the month, which is apparently 2K more than normal, which is very exciting too. The least popular video of this month, let's find out. We've got analytics, we're going in live. So I'm going to guess it's probably the partial function review because reviews don't do very well. Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 1 looks like... Oh, no, that was in March. So, yeah, it is the partial function review is the worst performing video. Not massively by much, though. It's performed better than all of my other Hybrid Helix reviews, so that's really nice. Lots and lots of interaction and comments this month, which is really good. The last few weeks where I have been doing less reviews and been doing more like lists and book hauls and things like that, I've actually been great for the channel. We've had a lot more views than normal. So in fact, if I look here, I would say my average views are around 100 views per video. And I have had a video with 750. I've had multiple 250s. Yeah, so been a real good month for videos this month. And the Fantasy Starter Pack is at 350 views as well. That came out right at the beginning of April. If you haven't seen that, the Fantasy Starter Pack video is real good. Even if you are a big fantasy reader, I'd still recommend having a look at it because it will tell you probably some great recommendations for accessible books to give to your friends who are not fantasy readers. Okay, so I think that's basically everything. The Wandering Inn, as always, continues to be great fun. The latest chapter I really didn't like and I didn't enjoy, but the rest of the month's chapters were excellent. So looking forward to reading this week's chapter. I might actually read it like now. I have a bit of time. I'm taking a longer lunch break because I've worked some overtime recently. So probably have time to read and video that. So I might do that today. And then, my Should I Take a Break from the Wheel of Time video was complete clickbait. But I do think that I will be trying to read the First Law. So because of the library books, I decided not to fit it in this month. But I will read it this summer. So ideally before the end of like September, I'm hoping to have read No, what's the... I can't remember what the name of the first... Before They Are Hanged, maybe? Whatever the first law book is called, that's the one I'll be reading. I am also expecting at any time to be given a load of SPFBO books to read, so I would imagine that will take up a lot of my time over the summer as well. And yeah, lots of good reading coming up. In terms of other stuff for this month, so movies, shows, etc. I did watch all of the Fallout show. And I thought that was really good. If you haven't watched it, you don't need to be a fan of Fallout. I'm not a huge fan of those games, but I love the show. Walton Goggins is a treasure, as always. And I don't actually think I've watched any other shows this month. I've watched a couple of episodes of a few bits and bobs, but nothing I really want to talk about in terms of having a formed opinion on it, because I haven't finished it. Movies-wise, I only think I saw Monkey Man this month, and maybe did I see Ghostbusters this month? Well, I saw Monkey Man this month. That was good, not great. My problems with it are in the video that I discuss it. It's in the title. I'm hoping to see Civil War and Godzilla X Kong before they leave cinemas, and I'll let you guys know when I've seen them, what I think about them. And I started playing Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. It is great. I had a couple of hours playing it and had a lot of fun playing. My wife was watching and hanging out with me, so that was a nice time. I would like to continue playing that, but I want to prioritize my reading for now, and then I can always... Games will always be there, but books need to be read for this channel. So, I think that's everything. Let me know what your April was like. I almost said March because the month has flown by that quickly. Let me know what your April was like. Let me know what the favourite thing you read was. And look out for my TBR video for May, which I believe I posted yesterday. I'm recording them all back to back, so I'm not 100% sure. And it'll be basically what I am able to edit today during this long lunch break. Also, please do subscribe if you are just watching the channel and you're not subscribed, which is an odd thing to do, because I think the whole kind of benefit of this channel really is the community and subscribing and following along and watching my weekly updates and stuff like that to see how I'm enjoying my reading. So yeah, if you haven't done that, then please do. Matt and I have no plans yet as to when to record our Shadow Rising video, purely because I haven't finished it. He hasn't finished it. I think he's only 100 or so pages in. So we may end up missing a month on the schedule for the spoiler discussions, but I'm going to continue to read one Wheel of Time book a month every month, because I'm loving it and because I don't want to get behind. So yeah, I think multiple times now we have recorded our video when I have already read the next book. But it's been great talking to you today. I hope that you are having a lovely time, that you've had a great April and you're going to have a good May. And make sure to like this video if you liked it. Drop a comment down below to let me know how your reading's getting on. And I will speak to you tomorrow.